ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः 10 आकृत्याधारयोस्तुल्यं भागत्वं न मृदं विना केवलाकृतिमात्रः सन् घटः क्वापि समीक्षते So in the mud pot, these two aspects are there. What are those? Adhara, standing for mud, the material cause. Other one is akara, akriti, the form of the pot. And both these have got a common factor. What is that? The status of being the bhaga, ansha of the pot. Now, which is more important, mud or the form? Mud can exist independent of the form. The form of the pot cannot exist without the mud. Nowhere it is seen a form of the pot without the material cause, the mud. So therefore, more important, though both have got the statuses of being the ansha, the bhaga of pot, the fundamental or basic part is what? The mud, which always is the same, whereas the other one comes and goes. So therefore he says, mrudam vina, without the mud, kevalakriti matraha san ghataka. A ghata, a pot, being only in the form minus the mud, na kvapi samikshate, nowhere it is seen. So in this way, this vacharambana shruti, that is, ekena mrutpindena sarvam mrunmayam vidnyatasya. By one mud, you can know, knowing the material cause of mud, all things that are made up of mud are as good as known. And even the form has no existence apart from the mud. It is only vacharambanam, only on the tip of your tongue in terms of some word, etc. That is that. Same thing is further going to be established before that, because this vacharambana shruti has come in that context. What is the tarkika mata as far as the cause and effect relationship is concerned? And it is wrong, that is what going to be shown now. So before that, let us see what Tarkikas or Naiyayikas have to say. They are basing their argument purely on logic, reasoning. In fact, Naiyayikas and Tarkikas are such that if you want to learn an art of complicating a simple thing, you can learn from Naiyayikas. Even a simple definition, they will go round and round and round, this clause, that clause, this, that, etc. So that until ultimately you are totally get confused. But it is necessary, not that making everything confused is not necessary, but the way of thinking is necessary. That's why in Vedanta there is a way of saying, in olden days, unless the student learns Nyaya, he is not taught Vedanta. And even if somebody learns, they say, Ayyo, Anyaya Vedanta. Anyaya Vedanta means some injustice to Vedanta is done, because Vedanta needs little inquiry and seeing the pros and cons, little intellectual exercise is necessary. So that in olden days they used to get from what? Nyaya. In the modern world it is not required, because modern college education etc. is enough for that, to give that intellectual exercise, etc., that much it means that thinking capacity is there. For this very reason, some people say Vedanta is very difficult because they don't want to think. If they want to do anything, but if you ask them to think, no. If you ask why thinking, if you ask them to sit at one place, not possible. They can't sit at one place as such. So therefore, they say bhakti is easy. Who told you bhakti is easy? So look, not my version. We think that bhakti is easy because we don't know what bhakti is. Our concept of bhakti itself is wrong. What we take as bhakti is little bhajans, so little work here and there, or little going to temple, etc. That is what bhakti. These are all aspects of some preliminary sadhanas, that's all. Bhakti is not easy, but if you compare Vedanta and Bhakti, Lord Krishna himself has said, he has not clearly said Bhakti is difficult, but what he has said about the Vedanta and making the mind get absorbed in Nirguna Brahma, from that it can be easily inferred Bhakti is difficult, making the mind get absorbed in the Swarupa according to Vedanta is more difficult. That's all. If you have got doubt, refer to 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Kleshodhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. In the case of those people who have got asakti, that is that affinity to make the mind get absorbed in the avyakta, nirguna, nirkara, brahma, for them kleshaha adhikataraha. Little grammar is required there. Klesha means what? Difficulties. Adhika means what? More. Adhika tara. Tara is that means comparative degree. Adhika, adhika tara, adhika tama. So therefore, Lord Krishna has used the word in a comparative degree, adhika taraha. For them, more difficulty. Comparison between what? Arjuna's question was what? Those people, because see, Vishwarupa Darshana was done, and afterward, Lord thought that this is the time to hammer bhakti. So, this can be, Vishwarupa means Sarvarupa is nothing but Bhagavad Swarupa can be gained, known by only those who have got Ananya Bhakti. How Ananya Bhakti can be gained? Last stanza of 11th chapter. Mat karma krin mat paramaha mad bhaktaha sangavarjitaha nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu yassamameti pandava. Mat karma krin, one who does serve whom? Me. Me means what? Me as Vishwarupa. All are nothing but whose form? Which Bhagavan's form only as such. Even therefore it says serving someone or serving the needy, etc. We should have that concept. Why serving? Even otherwise also, we should have that is firm, that is a concept in the mind. Anything and everything that you come across or individuals are nothing but who? Manifestation of Bhagavan only. That is what you mean by Vishwarupa? Sarva Rupa. Vishwa means a pronoun, not just simply word. Vishwa also is a pronoun. It means Sarva. All Rupas are whose Rupas? Bhagavan's Rupa. If that is not only for lip service as such, our conduct also must be so. In our conduct, we have to deal with each and every one in whatever manner we come in contact as what? Nothing but Bhagavad Swarupa. Many times we may not be able to help others. At least we can talk properly as such. That is, lovingly we can talk. So, not only that, any disregard, any hatred towards anyone, do you know whom it goes? You know that Subhashita, famous Subhashita in Sanskrit. Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam pratigacchati. Just as the rainwater directly or indirectly finally goes where? Through the canals, through the rivers, it merges where? In the ocean. Whatever salutations that with namaskara offered to any devatas finally goes to whom? Keshava. Again Keshava, not Vaikuntavasi Vishnu only said, Paramatma Tattva. The corollary also is equally true. Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarva jiva tiraskaraha Keshavam eva pratigacchati. If you hate any individual, you be rough with any individual. Do you know whom are hating, etc.? Keshava only. That is what Vishwarupa has said. So, simply doing few things is not bhakti. Other thing. Bhakti, just like in the Vedanta also, Nirguna Brahma, Dhyana also, what is required? That mind must be a ready receptacle. In most of the cases, so-called bhakti, many things are done. But that receptacle, the mind, because of through which it is done, is not ready, is not pure. It is just like cooking. In the olden days, cooking used to be in the utensils of what? Not the stainless steel and all that. So copper vessels. But to cook in that copper vessel, what you have to do? You have to tin them, you have to have that kalai, kalai. If that tinning is not there, suppose you make sambara, what will happen? Tamarind is put, it will be poisoned, the fellows will start vomiting. So like that, bhakti to be fruitful, the antakarana also must be what? Shuddha, pure. All raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, moha, madhamasara, all these have to be removed. Easy or difficult? Means we don't know what bhakti is. So Bhagavan himself said, kleshaha adhikataraha, means for bhakti, those who took mat karma krit, mat paramaha, mat bhaktaha, sangavarjitaha, nirvairaha, sarva bhuteshu. See, Lord himself said, no interpretation required. So, sarva bhuteshu nirvaira, no enmity with anyone. If you are inimical to him, that means if you have got the notion of being inimical to someone, what is that? It is to whom? You are enemy of who? Ishvara only. So this is very important as such. So it needs, because our habit is not, we have seen during question and answers, habits die hard, So therefore, our habits are such that, see, even somebody asks some a simple question, will assert or something great, etc. Not, there is no way of politely answering also what bhakti can be there. So that being the case, so therefore, not that bhakti also is difficult in the if it's the true bhakti, this is more difficult. What is difficulty is in the preparation of the mind. If the mind is pure, afterward, whether it's bhakti or this, it is not that difficult at all. So anyway, so like this, again bhakti is the antaranga sadhana for gaining the knowledge. So that is how, here also, nyaya means not that they should be expert in nyaya, they should have that capacity to see the pros and cons of a thing. That is why in Vedanta, if you take to study of Vedanta, even if the promised result of Atma Sakshatkara or Jnana is not there, that is because of our own lack as such, even that is not there, at least an objective thinking is possible. Means nothing is taken for granted. Any problem, etc., you can view from all different angles. That capacity is bound to come because in Vedanta nothing is taken for granted. So here, Nayayikas, they have their own school of thoughts, their own philosophy as such, which is wrong, and that has to be discussed in the context of cause-effect relationship, because in the Shruti, the context is of cause and effect. So what is the cause and what Jagat is the effect, what is the cause, etc. will be discussed afterward. So in that, what they have to say, so like this, now from the mud pot is created. What is the cause? Mud is the cause, pot is the effect. Now they say like this, this mud, mrudadi karanam, the cause is like mud, etc., gold, etc., whatever it may be. What do? Ghatadi karyam arabhate. That arabhate is a specific word, that is, they have got a particular meaning for that. Arabhate means what? Begins. They start, they create the pot, etc., the effect. But what is that arabhate means? The mud creates the pot. According to us also, from the mud the pot is created. No, what they mean is, mud creates the pot, and what pot it is? The pot is totally different, distinct from the mud. That is very important, what they have to say. So, that is what is called arambha. It's called arambhavada. What it means? Mud creates the pot, and what type of pot? Pot is different from the mud. So, not only that, both these have got reality. Mud is real, pot also is real. So, and how that pot created from the mud is related to how the pot is related to the mud, they say they have got us this thing, what? Relation. What is that? Samavaya Sambandha. If you take Nyaya, Samavaya and Samaveta, these two words come left and right. Samavaya Sambandha, and that which has got Samavaya Sambandha is called as Samaveta. Now what is Samavaya Sambandha? It is a technical term used by this Nayayika. So that means the mud Karana creates the pot, Ghata, the Karya, and then that Arabhate, then Arabdham Karyam, the Karya which is created this way, that Arabdham means the pot created from mud, but that pot which is distinct from the mud, that is very important. What? Karane, in the mud, how does it remain there? Samavaya Sambandhena Vartate. It remains there by Samavaya Sambandha. This needs to be understood properly. What do you mean by Samavaya Sambandha? What they mean by Samavaya Sambandha is by inseparable inherence. By inseparable inherence or existence. So that is what is called. An inseparable inherence or existence is called as what? Samavaya Sambandha. Means the pot created from the mud abides, remains in the cause the mud by inseparable inherence or existence of one thing in other. Here what is that? Pot exists in what? Mud by what? Inseparable inherence or existence, that is the relation. So that is what. Or what you can say in Samavaya Sambandha means constant and inseparable connection. That is what is also called as Samavaya Sambandha. Constant and inseparable connection or intimate union. So this way Samavaya can be understood. An intimate union or constant and inseparable connection, or by inseparable inherence or existence of one thing in the other. The pot is created from the mud, and the pot which is distinct from the mud abides in the cause, the mud, by Samavaya Sambandha. This is what they have to say. Not only that, pot is also real and mud is also real. This in the technical parlance is called as Arambhavada. This is called as Arambhavada. This belongs to Nayayika, Tarkika. What the Vedanta has to say here? Does Vedanta say the mud pot is born from something else than the mud? No, it is one. But what they say is, here, Karana, mud only, itself appears as false effect the Karya. Karanam eva mithya bhuta karyatmana vivartate. Mud itself gets transformed into pot. But how? Vivartate means without itself undergoing any changes whatsoever. What is the definition of vivarta? Those who are attending the classes for ages. Swaswarupa aparityagena rupantara apatti. Without giving up one's own true nature, getting transformed into something else. That is what is called as vivarta. In contrast to arambha. In arambha, one thing gives rise to other, but that other is totally distinct from the cause, and that effect is abiding in the cause by inseparable connection. This is what is Arambhavada. Whereas what Upanishads have to say, as per Upanishad, they say Karana only gets transformed in the form of Karya effect. What type of effect? mithya bhuta, which is false means which is there only for appearance. Truly it is not there. What is satya? Cause is satya, the truth, and effect is only appearance, the false. This is what is called vivartavada, which is according to Vedanta or Upanishad. So this is what the two, that is that. So Vacharammana Shruti in the Chandogya speaks of vivarta because it proves the karya effect as what? False, and the cause alone is true, and that is what now being discussed, so that to how the Nayayikas are wrong will be revealed. The stanza 11 is Purapaksha. Mrudru karana dravyat karya dravyam ghatatmakam अन्यत् तत् समवेतं हि मृदीति प्राहतार्किकः मृद्रूपात् कारणद्रव्यात् घटात्मकं कार्यद्रव्यम् अन्यत् मृद्रूपात् कारणद्रव्यात् घटात्मकं कार्यद्रव्यम् अन्यत् तत् हि मृदि समवेतम तद्हि मृदि समवेतम इति तार्किकः प्राह तार्किकः प्राह. So this is what I have to say about cause and effect. What you have seen only is now told there. मृद्रूपात् कारण द्रव्यात् घटात्मकम कार्य द्रव्यम अन्यत्. From the karana dravya. This dravya is another word used by left and right by who? This Nayayika. What is that dravya? A thing, a substance, a matter. So, according to them, in Nayayika's brother is Vaisheshika. You know? That means they have got something in common. So, according to them, the primary element or substance, that means, what is that? The substance of the properties, that is what they call as the dravya. Let us not bother about that. A thing. The thing called karana, the cause, this is, what does it do? That is, from that, mrudrupa, karana dravya, from the thing which is the cause, namely here, the mud, ghatatmakam karya dravyam, the thing called pot. Why he called thing? This also thing, dravya, that means they are distinct. That's what you have to say. They are real, but the mud is different and the pot is different. He uses separately dravya, a thing, a substance as independent of other. So that is what he uses. So therefore, ghatatmakam karya dravyam. That is, the karya dravya, the thing called effect of the nature of ghata, the pot. Atmakam is of the nature or what is called as pot. Anya is different. Means mud is one thing from which the pot that is born is something different from the mud. They have got, and what is the connection between these two? If they are two, they have got some connection. What is that? Tat. Tat means, what is that? Ghatatmakam karya dravyam, namely the pot. Pot, which is ghatatmaka karya dravya. So what does it do? He, according to them, it is well known. What is it? Mrudi, in the mud, the karana dravya. How it is there existing? Samavetam means inseparably inherent or inseparably exist. This pot exists in the karana dravya, the mud, inseparably. So, iti, who says so? Tarkikaha praha. This Tarkika says, Nayayika says. The question is, from where did he get this? How did he get this? He says, Kapola Kalpita. He has got superb intellect, fertile intellect, giving harvest of all these things that is there. He has got that, so therefore, how did he get it? That is now to prove, to refute the Tarkika Mata. So it is shown how he got it. स्वयुक्त्यासौ तथा ब्रूते नत्वे तल्लोकसम्मतम् घटे मृदक् पृथक् भूते कीदृक् तत्त्वमुदीर्यताम् असौ स्वयुक्त्या तथा ब्रूते असौ स्वयुक्त्या तथा ब्रूते तु एतत् लोकसम्मतं न तु एतत् लोकसम्मतं न ऐड कथम मृदः पृथक् भूते घटे मृदः पृथक् भूते घटे कीदृक् तत्वम् ऐड इति उदीर्यताम् इति उदीरताम् असौ means this person. Who is this person? Tarkikaha. This Tarkikaha. You know what? How does it they say all these things? Swayuktya tatha brute. Tatha means, as we have seen that what? The effect, the pot is distinct from the cause, the mud, and the distinct pot inheres with an inseparable connection in the cause, the mud. How does it say this person? Swayuktya tatha brute, says so according to his own reasoning. That Swayukti has got a hint. Reasoning is not Shruti Sammata. Vedanta also accepts wherever necessary reasoning as the means of knowledge. But that reasoning, tarka, must be in accordance with the Shruti, the Upanishad. What is the Shruti reasoning? Karana is Satyam, Kavacharambana is Mithya is the Karya. He doesn't take help of that Shruti, but his own brainwave, he just words. That is, it is not Shruti Sammata Yukti. It is not a reasoning which has got the sanction of the Upanishad, but his own brainwave. So therefore, Asau, this Tarikika, says so by his own reasoning, not in accordance with the Upanishad. Okay, maybe, but it may not be in accordance with the Upanishad, but he may. So there is no rule that what all the Upanishad has said is correct. Is there a rule? Is there a rule that whatever that is told by Upanishad must be correct? Yes? Or no? See, we should give 50% chance, no, for others. Then how do you say no? What is told by Upanishad cannot go wrong. How do you say so? Suppose a statement, whether it's correct or not, if you want to verify, one of the aspects that need to be considered from whom the statement has come. What is the source of the statement? Now, Upanishads, what is the source of Upanishad? Ishvara, Parameshwara. They have come from Ishvara, Parameshwara. Parameshwara being omniscient, that is Sarvajnaha, there is vision of going it wrong. Whereas this person, who is he? That's why Vedas are said as what? Apaurusheya. It is not the product of any human intellect. Any human intellect, however great it may be, however great the person may be, has got its own limitations. That's why it is called as what? Paurusheya. Our very culture is that however great a person may be, we will have all respect for him, but we will not take it only because that person is great. We will verify on the touchstone of what? Vedas and Upanishad, because being a human being, however great the intellect may be, it has got the inherent defects. Because where can intellect? Only in the perceptible field and the other means of knowledge based on direct perception. Whether it is direct perception, inference, illustrations, all these means of knowledge are dependent on what? Jeshta Pramana is said, Jeshta Pramana. Who is Jeshta Pramana? You know who is Jeshta? Senior, elder one. So, what is the elder Pramana? Pratyaksha, direct perception. So, inference also is based on direct perception. Illustration also based on direct perception. That direct perception is necessary based on which the intellect can work so many inferences, etc., etc. But the direct perception itself is what? Defective. There is a basic flaw in the direct perception based on which your intellect is functioning. Therefore, what intellect is producing also should have the fundamental defect in that. What is the defect in direct perception? What are the sense organs we have at our disposal to know and perceive anything? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch. Is it not? These are the 5 jnanendriya sense organs we have got. But their capacity of perceiving a thing is limited. For example, take our eyes. Our eyes can see. Do you mean to say our eyes can see anything and everything? Our eyes can operate in the spectrum of Vibgyor, is it not? This is that. Again, it has got limitations. Eyes of the vultures are more powerful than the human eyes. High up soaring, even a prey which is there on the ground, it can see. Has got the human being of powerful eyes, means what they can see is limited. What they can hear also is limited. There is a range of audible pitch for the human being. A sound between that only can be heard by whom? The human being. The sounds having higher pitch and lower pitch than that sounds are not audible to whom? The human ear. It seems olden days they used to have police used to have a whistle. And that whistle had the pitch higher than the human audible capacity. So when the police whistles, the thief can't hear, the dog hears. The dog has got the capacity to pick up that pitch and it hears, but the human being doesn't hear. Even the rustling of the leaves, etc., who cats and dogs can hear, we can't hear. Means their range is wider. Even the sense of smell, dogs, cats have got more powerful than the human being. I used to give an interesting example. In the village and small places, in the house there are cats. And these cats have no family planning. So many cats, the owner is not a very rich person, he can't feed all these. Even the dogs also. At the same time, the domestic, very loving, etc., what they can do? They can't beat and drive them, they won't. What they used to do is, they used to put them, either the cat or the pup or something, in the gunny bag. And walk about 2-3 kilometers and leave the cat or the dog, and somewhere habitation is there, so that somewhere they will get the food, they will survive, that's all, not to the somewhere. Before this fellow can reach home, the cat or dog is ready. Now tell me, did the cat or dog to the address of the master, such and such post office, such and such road, etc., how did it come? Smell. By the smell, it could retrace the path and come. So the human being cannot do. So that is how it is. So therefore, they have got a better chunk of the world than the human being, which is true. For example, let us say, suppose our eyes are tuned to X-ray wavelength without any damage to the eyes. Okay, that is very important. Our eyes are tuned to X-ray wavelength. Do you know what will you see? What I will see and what you will see here? One skeleton here sitting and jaw is open, closed, etc. And I should have very strong heart, not chicken heart, okay? Because so many skeletons here, we should have a strong. See, I think once, few years back, I had shown one video cassette of the inauguration of the super specialty hospital at Puttaparthi. I told those who have got chicken heart better don't see this cassette because open heart surgery was being done. It was shown there. So the open heart surgery was being done and that it was being shown because it's scare, no? Heart is open and like that it happened, and the fellow is what? Handling that. I said, those who have got chicken heart, please don't see that. So like that, so what I will be seeing here, so many skeletons sitting. Bhoot Bangla mein bhi aisa nahi hoga baad mein. So now, which is true? This is what the perception can present to us. Is it a complete world? Based on the partial data, you are concluding so many things, what your intellect is bringing out, all reasoning, etc. How it can be totally true. So therefore, Paurusheya thing, any product of human intellect has its own limitation. That is where the role of Vedas come, Apaurusheya, because it is Ishvara Ukti. These are the words of who? Ishvara. That's why even if we are not able to understand that what we have to do, that means we have to put forth the efforts. How is it so? Because generally what happens? The arrogance of the modern educated person. What I can't understand is wrong. Why? Because I can't understand, that's all. Other person is wrong because he doesn't have that open heart to admit my own mistake. So therefore, if it is from Vedas, etc., if I am not able to understand, let me find out why. Suppose a Lord Krishna has made a statement. We should think twice before concluding that it is wrong. Many times it happens. A contradictory statement is made in the very same sense. Nacha matsthani sarva bhutani, nacha matsthani bhutani. You don't need much Sanskrit at all. Lord Krishna said, all these beings are in me, and afterwards said, nothing is in me. Even a child can tell that what Lord Krishna is, what is doing, he is contradicting his statement. And you don't need much Sanskrit because Matstani Bhutani to add nacha Matstani Bhutani. Is the opposite sentence or not? Is the same breath he has told. But who has said this? Krishna. So we should have that much of common sense that if Krishna has said that, meaning something. If a Tom, Dick, Harry in the street has said that, we can brush it, there is a mad fellow must be there. But when Krishna has said that, we should have that. Why? Krishna can never say something which is incongruous. That is very important. So that being the case, this person sidetracking the Upanishad based on his own brainwaves, swayuktya tatha brote. Not only that, you may say, no, it may be true. It is not acceptable to the world who has got a common sense. It is now being shown. You forget the Upanishad now. Even to the world means any person in the world who has got little common sense, it is not acceptable. Why? That's why he says, how will say? See afterwards. Etat tu. Tu means whereas. Etat. Etat means what this Tarkika had, Nayayika Tarkika has said about cause-effect relationship. Loka sammatam na. It is not able to the world means people cannot accept it. Why? Even a common sense will tell that it is wrong. Katham, how do you say it is not acceptable to the world means to the people? Answer is, mrudaha prithak bhuti ghati. What he says? Mud pot is different from the mud. If that is the case, mrudaha, fifth case, from the mud, ghate, in the pot. What type of pot it is? Prithak bhuti. The pot which is totally distinct from the mud. Means mud is not there in the pot. In that, kidrik tattvam iti udiryatam. Let these Tarkikas tell us what type of tattva means what is the nature of a pot. Which pot? Mud pot, which is totally different, distinct from the, please tell us the nature, the swarupa, tattva of that pot. He can't say. Therefore what? Even a child will say it is something wrong. Many things are there. Here in the Panchadashi, he has ridiculed this Tarkikas. Here he is not. He says, and what they know? He says, mud is different, pot is different. And do you know, the pot will have double the weight of the mud. He says, very interesting. Goldsmith can, what they can do? From the gold, they can create the ornaments, and that ornaments is what? It is different from the gold. Means gold weight is there, and equal weight, what is that? Ornament is there. What will happen? Double the gold. See, it can hatch. So that is what there is ridiculous. That is there. He has answered in the Panchadashi. He is not entering all those. So therefore it says, Mrudaha pruthak bhute ghate. In the pot, what type of pot? The pot which is different from the mud. Kidrik tattvam. What is the nature of such a pot which is different from the mud? Let him tell. Means he has no answer. Now, just to make him think, Vidyaranya Muni helps him now. You tell me, either of these answer, is it which one of these two answer you can give me? He can give only two types of answer. So therefore he has. Tell me. So what this Tarkika has to do? He has to describe the nature of the pot born from the mud, but which is different from the mud. Okay. So he is now being helped. Come on, let me see. Vachaivarabhyate kim va pruthaganiyate vada. Vachaivarabhyate tattvam kinchinna syat khapushpavat. The question is like this. You will see the Anvaya afterward. See? If the pot is considered as born of mud but totally distinct from the mud, so you have to tell us what is the nature of such a pot. Okay. Now I say, is it this way? Is it only in terms of just a word name called pot? You tell me, that is what is vacha eva arabhyate. Or is it something different, like a pot is that, ghata, Sanskrit words are better. Ghataha, ghata is what? Pot. Pata is what? Cloth. Now, cloth is totally distinct from what? Pot. Is it not? Like that, from the mud, something called pot, totally distinct from the mud. Is it brought that way? And therefore you are saying that this pot is totally different and it is real from independent of, no, it is different from the mud. Are you saying that? Two questions are being posed. So that is what he says. Now take the this Anvaya, first line as it is. Vacha eva arabhyate kim va pruthag aniyate vada. So, second line. Vacha eva arabhyate, add chet kha pushpavat kinchit tattvam na syat. Kinchit tattvam na syat. Says, sir, please tell me this. What is it? He is being interrogated now. Who Tarkika? Vacha eva arabhyate. That pot, different from the mud, here arabhyate means, is it formed? Is it made only by what? Vak. Means only in terms of speech, means words only. Is it something called pot is made only in terms of speech? Is it arabhyate means is formed or is made? It can also mean is obtained. Is formed is better. Is it made? Is it formed? Simply by speech means words. Kimva, or please tell me, pruthag aniyate. Pruthag aniyate means just like the pot is different from the cloth. Let us say a microphone is different from the bulb. Like that, something from the mud something pot which is totally distinct from, let's say, microphone and bulb, like that something different is brought, aniyate, brought, vada, please tell me, please answer me. Now first possibility is said. Now he has to say either of the two. Third possibility is not there. If he says that from the mud, what is called as pot is made, formed only by vak, word, then what is the truth is being told. Vacha, that first possibility. Vacha eva arabhyate chet. If from the mud, the so-called pot is made, formed only in terms of words or speech, then he says, it has no essential nature, no true nature it has got. It cannot be real. So therefore, it is like khapushpavat kinchit tattvam nasya. Tattva means true or essential nature. It doesn't have like khapushpa. You know what is khapushpa? You know what is kham? Sky, space, sky. Pushpa, flower. So now khapushpa is a phrase now. Do you know what does it mean? It is a figurative expression which speaks of impossibility. Means there is no, don't think that way. A flower on a tree, after a tree is in the space and in the space is the flower, not that way. Akasha Kusum also is said. It is what it means. It is called sky flower. Means, like English knows, castles in the air, same. Is it like, in English what you say? Building the castles in the air is different, okay? Building the castles in the air also is a phrase. Castle in the air, because in the air you can't have the castle. Castle in the air means without the foundation on the ground. It is impossibility. So that is a, so it is a figurative expression to denote anything that is impossible and impossibility. So khavat, like the sky flower, your pot, which is only what made of words. See, khapushpa. When you say khapushpa, word is there or not? But there is nothing called as khapushpa. So like that, the pot, if it is only vacha eva arabhyate, if it is made by only word only, like the sky flower, kinchit tattvam, no true nature or no true essential is what dismissed. Now, if you don't know what is khapushpa, Vidyaranya Muni is kind enough to give you few illustrations of impossibilities, though very clear words are there. Expressions are there in terms of word, but there is no substance, there is nothing called such a thing. See, and if you superficially see them without thinking, it appears as though something is there. Let us see. Illustrations, that is what is that? Kinchit tattvam nasyat. That is, there is no true nature, there is no essential nature, means nistattva, without any reality. That's only in terms of words. For the three impossibilities are being shown here. Mrugatrushnam bhase snata khapushpa krutashevaha. Vandhya putra iti prokto nistatvamakhilam khalu. First line as it is. Mrugatrishnam bhase snataha khapushpa kruta shekharaha vandhya putraha iti proktaha khalu akhilam nistatvam. Khalu akhilam nistatvam. He says, all these three expressions no doubt are there at the tip of the tongue in terms of the words. They have no real nature, nothing, true thing is there. What are those? Here is a Vandhya Putha. Vandhya, the one who has no issues. Putra, son. Vandhya Putra, son of a barren woman. Vandhya Putra. Existent or non-existent? Word is there, non-existent. And do you know what did he do? Mruga Trishnam Bhasisnataha. Just now he has taken bath. Which water? Mruga Trishnam Bhasi. In mirage water. Mirage water, does it exist? No. Vandhyaputra doesn't exist. He took bath where? In the mirage water. And do you know? He has decked it with flowers. Kha pushpa krita shekharaha. Shekhara means at the head. Krita shekhara means he has decorated his head with what? Kha pushpa, with sky flowers, which don't exist. All three are what? Non-existing things, but expressions are there or not? You see, they all are what? In fact, this is one Subhashita is there. It is like this. The one thing he has omitted here. Mruga Trishnam Bhasisnataha Shashashrunga Dhanurdharaha Esha Vandhya Sutoyati Khapushpa Kruta Shekharaha. Hey, look, that fellow goes there. Who is that? Vandhya Putra. Do you know who is that? Mruga Trishnam Bhasisnata, same thing. And one additional aspect is that Shashashrunga Dhanurdharaha. He is wielding a bow made up of horn of a rabbit. Look how it will sound. In the match that ended yesterday, a Vandhya Putra with a bat made up of the horn of a rabbit scored 300 runs. How does it sound? It is a flash, for front page flash on all newspapers. All three are what? Improbabilities, impossibilities only. So there only words are there. There is no stuff there at all. So therefore, see, all these khalu, indeed, akhilam nistatvam. All is nothing but nistatvam means it doesn't have true nature, essential nature, only word. So therefore, if you say the pot is vacha eva arabhyate, etc., it has no real nature. So what you have to do now? Per force you have to accept whom? Vedanta, Upanishad you have to accept. Why? Mud alone is true, pot is what? Only false. You have to accept that. Now the other one. This aspect is now answered. So he has to accept Vedanta. And if he says, no, I don't say that. Vacha eva arabhyate, I don't say. I am telling you, just like this, that means how the cloth is different from the pot, so also pot is different from the mud, something called pot, totally different from the mud, is brought. Like microphone is different, bulb is different. So like that, one thing totally different from the other is brought from the mud. If you say so, let us see. For that, so second one, this can't be answered at all. So it is not possible. Like that, from the pot, a cloth is brought. Not that way, okay, huh? The pot was stuffed with the cloth and you removed, not that way. Pot hatching the cloth, okay, that is better. Pot hatching the cloth and delivering the cloth is not possible. Different. Like that, mud giving rise to pot, totally distinct from mud, is not possible. That is now answered. Pruthaganayanam kartum dhimatapi na shakyate. Ato nruto ghato naiva satya ityabhyupeyatam. Pruthak anayanam kartum धीमता अपि न शक्यते. धीमता अपि न शक्यते. अतः घटः अनृतः न एव. घटः अनृतः न न अथा घटा अनृतः न एव सत्यः न एव सत्यः इति अभ्युपेयताम् इति अभ्युपेयताम्। पृथग आनयनम means bringing out separately from what? That is bringing a mud pot from the mud and distinct from the mud. Producing a mud pot from what? Mud. But what type of pot? Different from the mud. Such production or creation, prithak anayanam kartum, to do so, dhimata api na shakyate. It is not possible for even a, dhimata means by a wise person also. However skillful the person may be, you may say magic etc. Magic etc. is not proper creation at all. It is only a trick. So not that way. So therefore, so dhimata api, by a wise person also, na shakyate, is not possible. So therefore, if vacha eva arabhyate, only in terms of the word, then it is not in reality, only it is false thing, you have to accept. If you say it is separately brought, even a skillful person, however intelligent person, maybe Einstein or even greater than him, can never do, no scientist also can do that. Na shakyate, not possible. Therefore, so what is to be now? You have to do now. Ataha ghataha anrutaha. The so-called pot is what? Anruta means what? False. It's truly not there. The mud only appears as if the pot. If you probe into the pot, what remains is what? Mud only remains. Therefore, ghataha anrutaha, and that's what? It is false. Na eva satyaha. It is not at all true thing. So, iti so abhyupeyatam. May you please accept what you have said is wrong. So you have to accept this because you have no answer to our question. So this way, this Tarkika Mata about cause-effect relationship is not correct. That is what is now shown. So to make it further clear, what is the distinction between what the Upanishads, Vedanta has to say about cause and effect and what Tarkika, Nayayika has to say about cause-effect? That contrast is being drawn. Means what we have discussed so far only, in nutshell the contrast is drawn now. That is Tarkika Vedantinoho the karya karana vishaye vailakshanyam vyurunate. The vailakshanya, the contrast, the distinction between what the Vedanta and Tarkika has to say about cause and effect relationship, that is now being explained. Om swasti prajabhya paripalayanta nyayena margena mahim maheshaha go brahmanebhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanya prithvi sasyashalini deshoyam shobharahita brahmana santu nirbhayaha om sarve bhavantu sukhina sarve santu niramayaha sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kasyit dukkha bhag bhavet asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.